Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode with Lexi Schwarz. Lexi is the owner of All Day Santé, and this week we're chatting about everything from what it's like to work with your mom, the logistics of owning your own business, and she even gives us some insight on some candle brands that may not be so great for your health. I am so excited for you to hear my conversation with Lexi, but I do want to flag that we did have some audio issues on this episode. It does get better towards the middle, and it's a quick, wonderful episode, so I hope you still enjoy it. I'm honestly shocked we didn't run into this earlier with us starting our own podcast, but here it is. So, cheers and thanks for listening. Welcome back to the original Yappy Hour. I am your host, Meredith Mills Merritt. Today I have with me Lexi Schwarz. Lexi is the co-founder of All Day Santé, a modern wellness brand that she built alongside her mom, centered around intentional, elevated living. The brand focuses on clean, thoughtfully made products, including their clean candles, with a Korean skincare launch coming this summer, which I could not be more excited about. I actually met Lexi through one of my husband's best friends and can truly say her candles have changed my life, specifically the Abbott Kenny scent. As a candle lover, knowing the toxic scents and materials that are used in some of the more common and commercial brands is actually horrifying. So this is such a welcomed product in our household. There's so much more to this than just candles, though, so I'll stop talking. So Lexi, thank you so much for coming and yapping with us today.
Yeah, hi Meredith. Thanks for having me on.
So we like to start with the beverage of the week, and I'm so excited for this one because when you sent it to me, it sounded so refreshing. So I actually have mine here. I poured it into a different glass, but if you're ready, tell us what we're drinking today.
So I actually have the matcha powder here. I found this matcha in Korea and it is amazing, but I didn't like the milk base. And when I tried it originally, it had like sparkling water, but I couldn't recreate that at home. So I found on TikTok to use coconut water and I've been doing that and it's my favorite caffeine wake up right now.
It's so genius when you send it to me. It feels so intuitive, and because I am ancient and off of TikTok right now because I was addicted to it, it makes so much sense. And I feel like for summer, it's just the perfect level of lightness, and you still get that caffeine to your point. So why are we drinking this?
It's mainly my caffeine right now. I'm drinking a lot of coffee, and so I feel like a switch to matcha is a little bit lighter on the immune system.
Absolutely. And also, I feel that there is a discussion. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how it metabolizes that the matcha and the green tea actually is a little bit smoother of a caffeine buzz. And you said you actually discovered this in Korea. So when was that? And kind of when did this become your go-to beverage?
Yeah, in September, I went to Korea to meet with manufacturers and doctors about creating products for All Day Santé. And also just while I was there, I was getting enriched in the culture, and matcha is so huge there. And there's a place called Super Matcha, and they have robots that mix it for it, and it's so cool. But yeah, I bought everything there because I needed to bring it home.
That's amazing. Well, with that, this is delicious. I will actually 100% be adding a coconut water matcha to my rotation. I think sometimes maybe we just don't want the milk. And we're going to move into your original story. Tell me a little bit more about how you got to where you are today and what inspired you to start All Day Santé.
So I was working corporate jobs, and I was working in the fashion industry and then the beauty industry, and then I started freelancing from there. And I love freelancing more because it's more fulfilling and it was more payoff. And my mom and I both feeling burnt out in our careers. She was working in real estate, and we had so much passion about the beauty and wellness space. And so we decided to start something together. My mom is like super granola and just has always been into organic and biohacking and everything. And it runs deep in my family, and everybody's an entrepreneur. So it made sense. The pieces all kind of fell together.
That's amazing. And I do feel like it's so helpful when someone else in your family is entrepreneurial. You kind of learn directly from them versus having to jump into the deep end by yourself. So I love that. Southsides, as I've mentioned before, is also a company that was inspired by my mom. And so I was so excited to have you on today to continue to tell this story. So, what in your upbringing or early life would you say helped to shape your taste, whether it's product, brand, or even just decision making when it comes to All Day Santé?
I guess the product and brand overall is my mom and even my grandmother are super health conscious. I mean, I was going to school with wax bags rather than the regular bags and being made fun of. And having everything green. And I was the weird kid at school who would wear a rash guard to the beach because my mom was super sun conscious. So I just grew up around that constantly. And then as I kind of developed as myself, I was researching it on my own and developing that further. So all the health things kind of fell into place. And then I have a writing background. I was writing for the Zoe Report in college and then just writing for later on career. And so I wanted to do a blog, and that kind of started All Day Santé. And then we just started developing products from there.
I love that. Also, I do feel like it's so funny because then you get to be our age and you're like, wait, I actually am going to actively choose a rash guard at the beach because I don't want a sunburn. Like you totally go full circle from when you're getting the things that you get bullied for as a kid are now somehow cool in your late 20s and early 30s and so on. And so I absolutely love that. Okay, so what pushed you over the edge? Like what was kind of the point where you were like, you know what, this is more than just a blog that I wanted to write. This is more than just something that I'm really passionate about. And how have you found being a founder? So kind of a two-part question for you there.
I mean, we wanted products that we wanted that didn't exist. So we were working with Korea and trying to make healthy, clean skincare products, but that has been taking so long just because of the time difference and communication and the development process, and I mean everything down to the box color. So while we were doing that, Christmas was approaching and we wanted a clean Christmas candle because I mean, who doesn't love the smell of Christmas in their
Why
house?
not?
Yeah. And we couldn't find one that had the ingredients that we wanted and that was clean and had fragrance that we wanted. So we started working with a manufacturer in LA and we started making candles. And we got into a hand poured, phthalate free, paraben free, cruelty free, clean fragrance candles.
That Christmas candle that she's talking about, by the way, for those of you listening, I think my mom ordered 8, and then I think I ordered 4 because I burned it all day, every day, and it is the most perfect, nostalgic smell that you can possibly imagine. So I, for one, am very grateful that you guys did that. And again, you know, switching into out of Christmas season, the Abbott Kenny scent you guys launched, I'm so obsessed with. I've given it to everyone in my life, and without like a question, they're like, this is the best thing I've ever smelled. So the fact that it has all those other qualities is so important because, again, I think a lot of consumers don't recognize just how nasty some of the stuff in their candles can be. So there are a lot of brands and individuals trying to kind of play in the quote unquote, you know, better for you space right now. What did you feel like they were getting wrong? And what did you want to do differently?
I guess we're pulling from like actual experiences. So with Abbott Kinney in particular, my mom grew up in LA. We both went to USC, so our foundation has been in LA. And we wanted a smell specifically that smelled like Abbott Kinney. I feel like other brands just go with a scent or a vibe and they do it, but this is coming from our core and what we are. So my mom used to live on Abbott Kinney, and then later on I did. So we're trying to bring our favorite things to households.
It's so nice when you add such a healthy dose of soul to things like that because you see all the time people will just take a scent and roll with it, but it's so much more meaningful when it comes from a backstory like that. So I appreciate all of the thought that goes into it.
Yeah, we want to be a real brand with a face to it and mother-daughter founded, so that's our goal.
Oh my gosh, before I forget, tell me about these new products that you're launching.
Yeah, so our first one is coming out this summer. It is a PDRN lip treatment, and we were inspired by going to Korea and we got the PDRN salmon sperm injection facials, and
Amazing.
It made such a huge difference. And PDRN is so underrated. It is a regenerative skin healing molecule, and it helps with tissue building and just collagen production and makes you so much more youthful. So this is what it's going to look like, and it is a beautiful color. It's like kind of plummy but very translucent. It goes with every lip liner, and everybody who's tried it has loved it so far, so we can't wait to have that launch this summer.
I cannot wait for that. That sounds right up my alley. I have been on the hunt for a good, easy lip, which I feel like is harder than people think. So thank you in advance for that. All right. Moving into part two, which is money, power, decision. So, what is something that founders or consumers in the better for you space or functional space obsess over that you think actually doesn't matter?
I think obsessing over trends. I think people just want to go viral and they're obsessing over the right now on TikTok and something that is cool and that is popular in Gen Z. But I feel like that's not longevity. And I feel like if you're building a brand, you want something that people want in 10 years, not just in the next 10 months.
Absolutely. This is a great feeder into our next question, which is like, what do you feel separates a brand that feels like a lifestyle versus a product that's trying too hard?
I think, yeah, a lifestyle is really what we're trying to build here. And I think it has to be authentic to the founders. And what do we love to do? Like my mom and I, we love Pilates and we love being healthy and we love using organic ingredients. And I think that sometimes people just want to build a brand just to make money fast or just, yeah, be on trend. So I think that it takes soul to actually have a long-lasting brand.
My next question for you is, so when you're evaluating your own decisions as a founder on products that you are excited to launch or thinking about launching, or even products that you previously launched, or just kind of sitting and brainstorming what's next for All Day Santé, do you have a like personal filter?
Our products, we're trying to slowly roll them out, but we're trying to make products that we actually want to use every day and that we want to be authentic to and that we want in our household and that can better other people's households as well.
I love it. My last question for you in this segment is, what has been the most stressful part of all of this? Is it operational? I know you mentioned the time struggle between Southern California and Korea. Has it been financial, fundraising? Like, what in your mind has really stuck out the most? That's been something that you have had to deal with that's a little bit tougher than maybe you first thought?
I mean, I think all of it is a struggle as a founder, as you know, and it's just balance. But I think also releasing control has been a huge thing because, I mean, you can't make everything absolutely perfect, and I'm very type A. So down to like a Pantone color and it not being the exact vision that you had, but you know that you have to keep things going so you don't stop production. I think that has been the biggest struggle for both me and my mom.
That is something that I relate to on such a spiritual level with the Pantone colors. And like, you really have to balance like what I call founder brain versus CEO brain. And founder brain wants the perfect color and wants the perfect packaging. And CEO brain is like, this isn't going to matter. This isn't going to impact your bottom line. But it's still so hard. So completely understand. Next, we're going to move into the messy middle where we talk about the messes that surround all of us all the time, especially in Founderland. So, what is a hard lesson that you have learned in your position now that you use when you're evaluating decisions moving forward? And it can either be in business or in life.
I guess a lesson that I've learned now is like not to rely on people as much as you feel like you want to, because you never know communication styles or just like lack of time, and somebody might just drop the ball. Like our logistics team just absolutely dropped the ball and messed up a huge event that we had in Miami. Like we couldn't control it, so we just had to roll with it. So I think you take on everything that you can, but at the end of the day, you have to release.
Yes. And I do feel like when you have a great team, everything's good. And then you can have some snags along the road, and that's really tough. But again, I think a common thing is, yeah, releasing and being like, I'm going to do as much as I can, and then we'll see what happens with the rest is so important. What is a decision that you made early on that you have had to rethink or change, if there are any?
I think a decision that we made early on is just what we were doing, like our path. We thought originally we were going to be focused on supplements, but it quickly pivoted into more like what we're putting on our skin. So I think just direction has changed and it keeps changing.
And it always will. I find that like you have your North Star and everything else outside of that. It's amazing how many things can change so quickly. And so to kind of further that with this category, what is something that you think consumers don't fully understand yet?
I think consumers don't understand how important it is to have clean products. I think that people just will put things on their skin because they see a great marketing ad or they find it at Sephora, but they're not actually looking at ingredients. So I think that's going to be a huge theme in this next coming year or two, that consumers are going to start finding out that things are terrible for you and they'll want to change that themselves.
And with the launch of this Korean skincare brand coming soon, what do you have planned to kind of help the consumer along the road to get that education?
I think we're going to be using a lot of blogs to describe what these products are and what ingredients do and how it's essential for a healthy lifestyle. And then also, we're really leaning on TikTok to have video education, which I feel like is a new wave. And yeah, and also influencer marketing, working with influencers that align with us and who are also in the clean wellness space.
That's amazing. Again, you just have to kind of beat it over the head. I was always so amazed, and I still am amazed at how many times you have to repeat the same message for it to stick. And I think it's such a good mission to be on, to just try to clean up everything around your life, which is also why one of these days I'm going to beg you to do an event with me, because we have similar ethos, but just vastly different, vastly different categories. So moving into the last kind of more serious section, which is great. This is about, identity, ego. So you've touched on this before with you and your mom and your upbringing in Southern California and kind of the true roots. And so it sounds like this brand is quite the reflection of you personally. Did you intend that going in, or was it just something that made sense once you got this started?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely intended that going in. Looking at other companies, you kind of learn like you're in the back end and there is a face to it. And it's great to learn and work for them, but it feels so much better working with my mom and developing something that is us and that we want to share with people.
What do you think you have like a sharper point of view on than most people in this space?
I think, again, it all goes back to my upbringing. I think I have a sharper view on just nutrition and everyday lifestyle and health benefits that people don't think about and people don't know about because they weren't raised around it. Like my mom was making bread when we were young because she didn't want all the extra crap in it and things like that. And also my grandma, she was very, very particular about like we could only have glass in the household and no plastic anywhere. And I think that people just don't have that education and they learn that later in life. So I do think I have a little sharper edge on that.
I love that, because this is truly an example from my own family where my mom learned that later in life. And we grew up eating all sorts of things that I would never, ever put in my body now. And to have that kind of advantage and education and point of view from day one is just fantastic. And so my next question for you is, what do you think you're still figuring out, whether it's in business or about yourself as a founder?
Everything, still figuring out everything. I feel like as a business, like I've never done this before. And I feel like most founders, if it's their first company, they've never done it before. So I think still figuring out how to scale, still figuring out what people want and what people respond to, and just overall who our customer is.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And, the category that you find yourself in is very much in the cultural zeitgeist. I feel like no matter where you go or what you're looking at between beauty or food or kind of like what I'm trying to bring to the alcohol space, wellness and better for you is such a noisy category. And so when did you really start to trust your instincts over that outside noise, especially where, everyone seems to have an opinion these days?
I feel like I'm still struggling with that. Because you get feedback from people or you see something online and you're like, oh, did I make the wrong decision? But yeah, end of the day, you do have to trust instinct. So that is still a current struggle as a founder.
I don't know if it ever gets easier either. I ask this question sometimes and everyone seems to say that they're still struggling. So it makes me feel better that we're all, we're all in this together. So, okay, enough of the hard stuff. We've made it through the bulk of it. We're going to move into our sip or spill segment, which is so exciting. And so, as always, I have my South Side with me. We're ready to go. I know that the timing is a little early on a Thursday, but we're going to make it happen anyways. And so I'm going to do a little beverage ASMR. And so with that, my first question for you is, what is a wellness claim that you think is like complete and total bullshit and something that you just don't buy into?
That's a really good question. I think carnivore diet. I feel like that all has to do with blood type and it works for some people, but I haven't had meat since I was 5, so I don't think it would work for me. I think I would get violently ill, so I'm not buying into that. But for some people, it's great. It works. It works for my little brother.
That scares me so much. I sometimes look at a piece of meat and I'm like, I can't do this. So I completely understand. Okay, what popular brands that you compete with do you think are completely overrated? And again, you don't have to answer this. You can take a drink instead because I under.
Yeah, I don't think I want the negative backlash of that, so I'm just gonna say.
Cheers. All right. What is your most toxic trait as a founder?
I think that goes back to control. I think I get too in my head and then I try to control everybody around me, and I think that is super toxic.
I think it's fair, but I am in the same way. So, we can have that in common. What candle company has the scariest ingredients that you think consumers should be aware of?
Anything Bath and Body Works.
Fair. Oh my God. I know. It's so
It's always
sad. Oh, the color, just so not natural. You're like, I wonder where this came from. Okay, this one's fun. If your brand had the personality of a celebrity, who would it be and who would it absolutely not be?
I mean, I don't know why my brain keeps going to Bill Murray for the brand's personality. I feel like he's very forward and I feel like he's unapologetic.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow meets Bill Murray almost.
Yeah, I feel like Gwyneth Paltrow is, I mean, she's got her own thing going, so I wouldn't say her because I wouldn't want to compete with her,
True.
but I feel like we're in your face and this is what we are.
I love that. Okay, next is what is something that TikTok slash social media has convinced everyone to care about that you're just like, this does not matter to me at all. It can be wellness or health related or just like in general.
I mean, the vibration plate, I feel like everybody cares about that, and I do have one, and I do strongly care about it. So, bad example, but I also feel like the skinny teas, that is still a thing, it seems like. So,
I feel like sometimes the trends are worth it. So I'm fascinated to hear you say that about the vibration plate because I've seen that and I'm like, do I really want to do that? The answer is yes. I really do.
I love it. You need it.
But I haven't yet. So, okay, amazing. My last one in this section for you is what is something that you wish you could say publicly but don't?
I guess I wish I could say publicly to follow our journey and to be with us. And I feel like I'm trying not to be aggressive and salesy, but that's kind of the constant struggle I have. I wish I could publicly say, come on, come with our journey, follow us.
That is, I feel like the constant pressure of like the building out loud piece where I was so fundamentally opposed from the beginning because I was like, this brand is not about me. It's about the product. Like, obviously you're attached to it the way that you are with you and your mom's backgrounds and stories. But, I find that closed mouths don't get fed. So I love it. Keep it coming. We all support. Okay. So our final section, we actually do keep all these questions the same as a reminder for all of our guests. And I cannot wait to hear your answers to them. So number one is give us your current sweet and sour. So think rose and thorn, and it can either be in your business or in your life.
Sweet is working with my mom. It's been an absolute dream. She's my best friend and we work together so well. And sour is timelines, just getting things to production and getting things to launch. So that is a huge sour in my life right now.
I feel you. My second is who is your dream, living or dead, happy hour guest?
I think Henry Kissinger.
Obsessed. Amazing answer. My third question is, what is your favorite bar snack or cocktail menu order?
Bar snack, I guess a truffle fry if it's a menu situation.
Heaven. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's great.
It really doesn't get better than a fry and a martini. And I know that that's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason because it rocks. So.
And it's well there and it's worth it.
It is so worth it. Okay. Last one here is finish this sentence. I am happiest when?
I'm happiest when I'm learning, when I'm traveling and learning, when I'm working and learning, just when I'm growing and learning.
I love that. Well, Lexi, it was such a pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for yapping. Again, for everyone who wants to follow your journey, because we are going to push you to publicly promote that. Tell us where they can find you and anything else you want them to know before we end this episode.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at All Day Santé, and then you can follow along on our website and sign up for emails at alldaysante.com.
And seriously, if you have listened to this whole episode and you don't buy an Abbott Kenny candle, this is not sponsored. I'm going to be so mad. And if you do, please text me, email, however you want to, Telegram, Pigeon, just how amazing it smells. So, Lexi, thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.